everybody.
It's been
been
so
a minute.
long. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last podcast. But we've been busy too. We've had a lot going on. A lot of good things. All good things. All good things.
All good things. Mean blessings.
Yes. And actually, I want to talk about you and what's going on with you before we start. You want to promote? You should.
Oh,
It's for a
girl.
cause.
It makes me so embarrassed.
It's it. You sing beautifully.
Thank you. Thank
Girl,
you.
I was crying.
Aww.
Crying.
You know what? It's funny because when you say that, so I guess we'll explain it then.
Yeah.
So my business partner, Alfie MacArthur, lives in Scotland, and I met him, oh my God, it's like forever ago. And he's one of my best friends. We talk every day. I mean, he'll call me at 4:00 in the morning and we'll talk for hours. And we text all the time. And it started off that I didn't know him. Someone else introduced me to him. And it was in regards to a TV show that we were going to do, which was originally his idea called Escape from the Paranormal. So I was brought in as a psychic medium, and we just clicked immediately, and we had a large team, and it dwindled down because, you know, people don't hold their weight. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And, you know, the team got smaller and smaller, and the loyalty was not there. So he went off to do other things, as did I. And we stayed loyal to each other and our friendship, but we kept coming back to each other with new ideas and checked in on each other. And we always, we cheered for each other and whatever we were doing. And then it's crazy because we had newer ideas and we check in with each other and, we're going to do this. And that would kind of fall apart because something new would come up and it would happen so quickly. And then just a couple of, I can't even say a couple weeks ago because this happened so fast. It was like 5 days, literally. And he called me and he's like, listen, Momo, I need a female voice. And I said, for what? And he said, I wrote an album. And I literally laughed at him, probably way too hard, because I didn't picture him doing this. I mean, he was in the military. He was a chef. He's a pro boxer that's retired. He's done so much. He wrote movies and he's put movies out. He's so talented. And he is the most genuine, gentle-hearted person I know. And if you talk to him, you would never think that because he's such a badass. But he wrote these beautiful songs. And
very
the album,
beautiful.
They are. And every song's different. I mean, they're not all love songs or whatever, but there's dance music in there. There's some country music. There's some, and it's not necessarily country like we would think that it's country, or it's not really dance music like we would think. Even the rap music is not like our rap music here, but from Scotland, I mean, he poured his heart into this and he wrote everything, he said, in like 2 weeks. I had no idea he was doing this even while I'm talking, but I'm not getting him to answer the phone, or he would answer me back really quickly and that was it. And it's not like who he is. So I knew he was up to something as usual. And when he called me and he said, Momo, I need a female voice. And he told me about the album. I'm laughing maniacally and he's huffing and puffing at me. And I said, for what? And he said, it's called The Real Street Diary. And when he called it that, I knew that it was something special, but he had to explain to me. So what he's trying to do is get kids in gangs off the street, kids who are homeless off the street, kids who are in bad relationships to feel better, or kids who have contemplated suicide, to think of something different or to change their minds, kids who haven't eaten in days to have something better for themselves, who have had, a battered relationship with their parents to have something better for themselves. Just any kind of disadvantaged life in both the UK and the US. So that's why it's called the Real Street Diary, because it's going to be real. It's not going to be something where, it's a soap opera. It's the real
some fabricated
deal.
Story. Yeah.
It's whatever they've gone through, we want to help them with. And, I've always been a big advocate for anti-bullying, and we've talked about that before. I was all in. As soon as he said that, I said, I will do whatever you need me to do. And he said, you don't sing. And I said, no, I do. I took voice lessons when I was younger in high school. And I said, but you don't. And he said, I'm going to prove it to you. I've already done my part. You just need to record your part. So I said, I'll prove to you. And I recorded, and it was a lot of hard work. I mean, you think that somebody just goes into a recording studio and they pump it out and that's it. So Ed Sheeran's cousin, Jethro Sheeran, is a rapper in the UK, and he produced this album for us. And we're super grateful for all the work that he put in. He did all the work. He put all the work in for us. And when Alfie came back with this, I literally heard my voice for the first time, and I cried. And every time I listened to this song, I'm telling you, the first song that he did was Love Hurts Sometimes. And I listened to it over and over, and I couldn't believe that it was my voice. And I kept saying, are you sure?
Have the link we can put in the comments for people to hear?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah.
I think I do.
We'll put the link to the song for everybody here. It's for,
I think the reason why I cried so hard was because my godfather, my Uncle Jane, he used to have me come to his house I was there all the time, actually. They were my babysitters, and they had us stay overnight, and I was there in the summer all the time and on weekends. And he would say, okay, Dolly, now go over there in front of the fireplace, and I want you to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Or I would tap dance or whatever. And he had so much faith in me. And I kind of just pushed that aside, because when I was growing up, I was kind of like these kids. I was bullied terribly because I was very different. And, I had people telling me that I was worthless or stupid or fat, or, I was never going to do anything with myself, or I wasn't going to get any further, or I wasn't going to make it, or I was going to be a nothing. So I kept hearing his voice, which is ironic because someone did a reading for me about 2 to 3 weeks prior to that. And he was the one that came through, and he's never come through before that. And he kept saying, I'm so proud of you. I'm so, so proud of you. And I was like, I mean, there's been crazy things I've done, and I've been a mayor, and I've done.
I still can't get it. I'm like, everybody. This woman right here, she was a mayor.
But, I mean,
she was a mayor.
The weird thing is about that, I didn't want to be a mayor. I became a mayor because I wanted to save our town. And I wanted to help the people.
You always think of others all the time. I love that about you. You're so wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I've never done anything because I wanted to do it. Even doing readings and whatever, it's hurting my health. But I wouldn't get rid of it, because when I help other people, it truly inspires me.
Mm-hmm.
So the weird part about that is when I did this with him, we were both like, oh my God, that's us. That's ours. That's, something we did together, which we've been wanting to do for so long. But the thing that we wanted to do was a TV show. And that's not what came out. It's us helping other people. And we've been so excited for this. And it's not that we're never going to make any money off of this. It's all going to us helping these kids because it's going to be a TV show, ironically, but we're putting all the money into making a TV show because these kids are going to be disciplined, and we're going to get some kids out of jail. We're going to get some kids off the street. We're going to hand select the worst of the worst, and we're going to have them be disciplined. We're putting them through a boot camp, and then we're going to have all these kids together, which is going to be probably a shit show, but we're going to have them run a restaurant together.
Wow.
So they're probably, gangs together. I don't know how this is going to work out, but he's been in the military. He knows what's going to work, and I trust him. We're really trusting each other in this. And he didn't tell me I have to sing on stage, and I don't sing in front of anyone. I'm terrified, but this is what I'm giving up because I love people. I love people so much. And I'm not an extrovert. People think I am. I'm an introverted extrovert, meaning I'm a homebody. I don't like to leave my house. I will literally stay in bed and watch movies for my entire life. But I love when I do go out and I get to meet new people, which is one of my favorite things. I'm literally going to Scotland to do this.
Wow.
And leaving my family and my grandkids and my kids and my husband. And it's going to be very difficult. And I have to put myself out there on stage. We were asked by the Hard Rock Cafe in Nashville to come. And this is tough because I'm putting myself out there in front of people to push aside a huge fear. Huge.
You got this. You got this.
I could talk in front of millions. I can't sing in front of a single person. It was tough for me to sing in front of my husband, my dogs, my cats, my kids. My son's like, Mom, that is not you. And I said, yeah, it is. And there's like 4 songs that I'm either featured in or we're doing as a duet. But I'm super proud of Alfie, I have to say, because he like opened his heart and put this beautiful music together. And like, I wanted to cry when I heard it because it's just amazing.
I did.
I do every time I listen to, I love Hurts sometimes is like the most beautiful song. And he doesn't think that that's his favorite, but I think it's because we did it together. And it was the first one I did. And I really just love it so much. It's just amazing.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I'm so you have no
that means a lot.
Really for you. You deserve all the great things. And you always think of others, and this is for an amazing cause. I know you're going to be awesome on stage. You're going to kill it. You're going to be great. If I could sneak in your bag, I would and go to Scotland.
I'd love to take you with me. I don't know, I keep having this dream where I walk out on stage and then I just ask the crowd to just turn around.
It's like, and everybody face the other way.
I don't know. I overcame my fear of speaking in public. I can do that without having any notes in front of me, not knowing a topic. I do podcasts and I have no problem with that. I officiate weddings in front of hundreds of people. It's just the thing. I don't know. I think it's because I feel like I'm not good enough at what I do. My voice is not up to par. I lose my voice a lot because of my diagnosis. I don't know. I just think that there's so many people that are so much better, like Christina Aguilera. And then we were told that there's going to be a festival where these like big names are Ed Sheeran and Nicole Scherzinger and the Pussycat Dolls and me. Wow.
love. You're gonna
It's
do
crazy.
amazing, and it's amazing. I'm unbelievably happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
So anyone who's watching, I don't know, we probably have 2 viewers most of the time, but anyone who's watching, please help us out. It's not for, us singing. It's not for us being famous or having $1 million in our pocket. This is all going to disadvantaged kids. And I'm begging you, every music platform out there, iTunes, Apple, Spotify, whatever, look for The Real Street Diary. That's the album. You can also look it up by Maureen Grudzinski
Yeah, I saved the album on my Spotify.
Yeah. It's also under, I don't know if it's under Alfie or Alfred MacArthur, McArthur. You can also just look up Love Hurts Sometimes, and then you'll find the other music with it. But look up the album. You'd be super surprised that this music is just amazing. I mean, every song is very different, and there's something for every single person out there. Like I said, there's country, there's love songs, there's dance music there, and it's amazing. Every single song is absolutely amazing. You'll love it.
That's awesome. Yay.
And you don't have to buy the album. I mean, you can for $20, which would be a donation. But every click gets some money in our little tin cup that we're waving up. So either way,
see if we can buy the album. I'm going to buy the album.
So, $20. It's a good cause.
Yeah, I wanted to take some time out of our podcast, especially to bring this to light and to discuss it, because it's so wonderful and it's so amazing, and
it's a great cause. I mean,
happy for you.
I can't imagine. And if anybody wants to throw a name in for a kid in the US or the UK, we'll gladly look into them. And, this will help them, because later, once they've gone through the process, and, there's going to be a lot of kids who they'll give up. They'll throw in the towel. They don't want the help for some reason, but this is solely to get their shit together. And hopefully after they go through that whole thing, that's going to help them, and people will see them, and they're going to want to help them. They're going to want to offer them jobs or a home, or, whatever the case may be. That's what this is about. It's to hopefully help these kids in both countries or both areas, and get them moving and get them someplace different than where they're at, because it's not fun to be on the streets, or, without parents, or without, money, or with a record. You can't really do a lot with that. So that's what we're trying to help out with.
That's great. I love you for that.
I love you too.
Amazing.
That's where we're at.
Definitely check it out. I put the link for the album on Apple. So Music Apple, I put that link on. So everyone, please check it out. But you could also find it on Spotify and all the other...
Any of the platforms. It's on everything. I can't remember all of them, but they're on everything.
Awesome. Great. Yay. So now back to our witchy content.
Yes.
We are going towards Norse paganism tonight, and we will be talking about Odin and discussing runes. I do not have the brew of the evening on hand.
She drank it all.
I'm upset about it. But it's okay. We'll discuss what brew you can use, and then we will be doing an abundance spell. So all great things. Yeah, let's go start with our deity of the evening, Odin. Odin's story. So my husband is into Norse paganism more than I am, so I had to deep dive into the subject, and wow, it's fascinating.
It really is. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah. So
this guy was
their own
super powerful,
which it's funny because there's so many similarities with the tree of life, with the, the creation. And I mean, there are a lot of differences, but like here and there, there's like little, I'm like, oh, a lot of similarities between other cultures and their beliefs and things like that. I don't know if you wanted to start off or you want me to.
So, what I know is Odin's also known as Woden. Um, he was a Norse god of the sky, death, wisdom, poetry, magic. He was the king of Asgard, also god of war. He was extremely powerful. He was the father of Thor, and I forgot to write this down. The mother of Thor was. Do you know?
Of the mother of who?
Thor.
Oh,
He was the
yes,
father
I
of
do
Thor.
have her name. Hold on. Because the mother got
It's somebody
killed.
important. I just don't remember. I didn't write it down.
Hold on. I have it.
Why don't
Where
I
is
have
it?
this written down?
Oh, starts with an F. Hold on. Oh, Frigg. Frigg.
Or Freya.
Odin married Frigg.
And I think they it's either Frigg or Freya. They also use, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I
Um,
think Freya is different because Frigg ends up being killed.
okay.
Yeah.
So Odin was a pan-Germanic god across the northern Europe area before the conversion to Christianity.
Hmm.
Um, he hung himself to show that he deserves the secret of the runes, which we're going to get into also.
Yep.
He was associated with wolves and ravens, and he was the overseer of Valhalla, which everybody knows about Valhalla
Yes.
because they
Like
yell
their
it a
form of
lot.
like heaven almost for warriors.
Yeah, which is
So
interesting because he's the god of death and sky.
yeah. Well, so I did a little bit deep dive. So yeah, so he's also known as All Father, and he kind of ties into their form of the creation story, like their creation story. Like it would have to be like his grandfather, Buri, um, was the first god created.
Oh, okay.
And from Buri becomes Odin's father, which was Bor. And Odin had two other brothers, V and Vili. I'm gonna butcher these names, by the way. I apologize in advance. Um, and the him and the brothers killed. So back then there were giants and everything. So they killed the main giant Ymir, and his blood caused a flood that drowned the giants, including Odin's mom. Only two giants remained, and but they ended up repopulating. But because of like their mass killing, due to Odin and his brothers, there was like a huge hatred towards like the people of Asgard.
Hmm.
And with Ymir's corpse, they created the 9 realms with that. And Odin ruled the realms from his throne in Asgard. Um, and he married Frigg and allowed a giant. So I didn't know. So he allowed a giant to live on Asgard as a god and become a blood brother with. And guess who this giant was? It was
Who?
Loki. I didn't know Loki was a giant. Like was
I
one
didn't
of the
either.
giant they had a name for them. It started with a J, what they were called, but he was like part of that society, the ones that were pretty much like mass killed from the flood. So yeah, so Odin was the blood brother of Loki, and there's a significance with them being blood brothers because you know you hear Loki's story. Odin can never kill him because of the pact that they made to becoming a blood brother. So, you know, Odin always wanted more knowledge and to be able to see his fate, and that's where he hung himself from the tree of life for 9 days and 9 nights until he understood the runes of fate, which gave him the ability to see the fate of the cosmos. So, and with that, he was able to see Ragnarok, which was the end. And
Interesting.
because he was able to see that, he spent his life trying to change fate. He was trying to stop Ragnarok from occurring. So later on, he becomes what's called like the Wanderer, because he comes to Earth to try to gain more knowledge, to try to learn and see if there's a way to stop Ragnarok from occurring. And he was also able to see other things, like he knew eventually Loki's son, who was, so Loki had three children outside of marriage that were creatures. One was a sea serpent, one was the wolf, and one was a beautiful woman that also, I think it was half her face was like decayed, like almost like zombie-ish. So she was like half beautiful and half decayed. And Odin was able to see his fate and saw that Loki's one son, the wolf, Fenrir, was actually going to be why he dies. So because he saw that, he took Loki's kids and sent them, pretty much banished them from Asgard. So he sent the serpent to Earth. He sent Fenrir the wolf. He like chained him up somewhere else. And then the girl he sent to the underworld. So obviously now Loki's starting to build this hatred towards Odin because he took his children and, you know, set them away. So he went on a mission to try to like stop Ragnarok from occurring, and, you know, wandered the world, and that's where he eventually he hung himself, and through that you know, he was able to get it, and he was able to learn the runes, like what the fate of the runes meant. And he wandered the world, so he was always known to have 2 ravens that he used to be able to see everything he couldn't see and to gain knowledge that he couldn't gain. And he always had 2 wolves with him as like just like a company. And then let's see, I have my notes. So then, because he wanted to learn, so he didn't like discriminate who he learned from. So he even went to his enemies to try to gain knowledge.
Wow.
And, you know, he sought out Mimir, which was one of the wisest giants. Oh, the giants were called like Jotnar. And this giant drank from the well of wisdom every morning. And Odin wanted to drink from the well. The giant's like, okay, well, you need to sacrifice your eye. And Odin, without question, plucked out his eye. So that's why you'll see images of Odin with just one eye, because he plucked out his eye to be able to drink out of the well of wisdom.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, you know, then he becomes the wisest being in the cosmos after drinking the well. And in the end, he learned that fate was inevitable. There was no way of changing fate. And he learned that Ragnarok would be signaled by the death of his favorite son, which was not Thor. Thor was not his favorite son. It was actually his son called Baldur, the god of light. So knowing this, knowing that his favorite son was going to die and that was going to signal Ragnarok, and even though he knew fate was inevitable, he wasn't going down without a fight. So that's where he collected all the warriors from all over, like went to the underworld, collected all the warriors from Valhalla, and I think this was with the help of Freya. This is where Freya kind of comes in.
Okay.
And also the Valkyrie, the women warrior, are now created. And they spent their whole life training in preparation for Ragnarok.
So do you okay, so this is interesting. So Valhalla, you know, a lot of people in the military talk of Valhalla.
Yeah.
And then the Valkyrie thing, that was big in the German army.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all into the occult in the SS. So they were really like involved in this whole,
like Norse paganism, like kind of belief.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Because, you know, they were known to be like badass warriors. The Valkyrie were like the most feared, and top of the warriors from Valhalla. So
the Nazis were thinking that's who they were.
Yeah. Yep. So then they like pretty much fought after that, like trained until up to Ragnarok. Later on, Odin's favorite son does die.
Aww.
Through Loki, his blood brother. And again, Odin can't do anything he can't kill Loki because they have this blood brother pact. No one knows why. There's no, like, there's lost text or something, because there's no explanation why Odin took Loki in and, like, they were so close. No one knows why. But they had this strong relationship. So Odin, because Loki was still wanting revenge from Odin taking, so it was almost like an eye for an eye, like, you took my kids away, I'm going to take your favorite son away. So that's what Loki did. So Loki kills, and before that, though, and this is funny, because, like, so they knew that his favorite son was going to die. He saw it happen. So they went to, him and Odin and Frigg went to the people all around the world, plants, animals, and had them give an oath that they'll never harm his son. And everybody did, but he missed one tree or plant, and it was the mistletoe. He didn't get an oath from the mistletoe. So Loki, knowing this, went to the mistletoe, created an arrow out of the mistletoe that killed Odin's son. So now Odin's son is dead. This is now the signal that Ragnarok is going to happen. So, you know, now Odin's like pissed. So this is actually the real messed up part.
This is the part.
So Loki ends up getting married, and he has 3, you know, regular children, like, not creatures. And what Odin does is Odin's son is dead, so he imprisons Loki, chains him to a rock. What he used to tie him up was his son's intestines.
Ew.
And he was stuck in this one spot where this poison was dripping onto his head slowly, and he couldn't move, and it was creating intense pain. So after years and years of dealing with that, and, you know, you got your son's intestines wrapped around you, Loki, again, his hatred grew and grew and grew. So all this, you know, all this wandering that Odin does, all this search for knowledge, all this to prevent Ragnarok, he ends up, all of Odin's actions ends up being the cause of Ragnarok.
Okay.
Loki escapes. Loki is the reason why Ragnarok happens. After Loki escapes, Loki created an army. He got people from the dead, he got giants, he got, all the stuff. And then finally Ragnarok occurs. Which I think is like, here this man spent his whole life trying to stop this one thing from occurring, and he's the main reason why it occurs.
Doesn't that kind of like make you think though? Like we've all tried doing that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We've all tried not to be like our parents, but we end up like our parents.
Yep. And that's the whole thing. You can't change fate.
No.
And I think that was like kind of like the
It's a great lesson learned. Like that's our lesson for the evening.
Yeah.
You can't change fate.
You can't change fate. You may be the reason why it ends up happening.
Right.
All your ways of stopping it could
crazy.
Be the cause of it.
You really like came up with a lot more information than I thought that we were going to go over tonight.
When I told you I like deep dove, because I was like, ooh, this story is interesting. I got real interested. So that's what I got off of Odin. And if you notice here, I'm wearing two of the Odin symbols. So this is the Valknut. And that one, hold on, I have to like pull up my Google. Because again, I'm not like...
I was like, don't say you're going to pull up your shirt.
Huh?
I was like, please don't say you're going to pull up your shirt.
No. So this symbol, the one with the 3 triangles, it's a representation of Odin, and it means not of those fallen in battle. So it's a symbol that may have been associated with like the religious practice surrounding death, like death in battle. And then we have so this one's called either the Viking compass or Odin's compass or Nordic compass, and it's believed to have guided Vikings through harsh conditions and storms. So, and it's a protection for guidance.
That's cool.
This symbol.
The whole thing.
This whole thing.
Because usually you see people.
This is my husband's shirt, by the way.
I figured that. Usually you see people with it's called Vesverir.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most people have. That's like the biggest, like most popular thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I've found it like fascinating. Now I'm like wondering about all the other gods and their story.
Thank you for that book report.
Yes.
You got an A.
I hated doing book reports at school, but now I'm like,
I know. It's so because you're doing stuff that you're interested in. That's why.
Yeah. And I get to pick the subject.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
So
I mean,
now,
I didn't know most of that. I mean, you can watch like the superhero movies, and it's you know about the Ragnarok, and then you know about Loki and Odin and those things, but you don't get so far in depth over why things happened or whatever. They tell you a little bit about those things, but it's not like that. Now, here's the thing. So would we have all of that in-depth information? Are they real? Did this actually happen? Are they made up stories about the gods, or were they real people, but they made them gods because they seem to be powerful? What do you think?
I don't know if it was used maybe as a way to explain like creation and certain things, and kind of the way like how Christianity
how the Bible works.
Yeah. But but then there's certain aspects where I'm like, well, did this really happen? Like there's certain aspects I think it might be a combination of both, of being able to explain, but also having some truth to the stories.
Yeah, like fables.
Um, and maybe, Odin did exist, and, whether or not there's 9 realms, and I mean, we all know we're not alone, and there could be these 9 realms that we're all connected to, and everything like that. Like, it makes sense.
Mhm. It does. I
Um,
mean, it's very likely that it could have happened, just like, I mean, the story's very believable. You have jealous brothers,
mhm,
you have jealousy in people, and this could have been very likely that this one particular person really wanted to teach lessons to people.
mm,
It's very believable.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's very in depth. How it's so in depth that why would someone make up such
exactly.
stories?
And this goes back way further than Christianity, and, well, it's like a super old religion that was passed down and spread because Vikings, they were um they traveled, they ventured out, they went to a lot of areas, and they spread their culture, and it's funny
Mhm.
because people, like, everybody thinks, like, you think Norse pagan or you're Viking, it's like the big guy with, like, like that whole, like, Viking look. But I like someone made a comment to my husband, like, "Oh, you're just like a fake Viking," or like something. I'm like, "Did you know that, you know, Vikings were, that whole belief system were huge in Portuguese, like Portugal
Hmm.
and things like that. In back then it was part of Iberia, and there was a huge Viking and Celtic influence in Iberia and in Portugal, and influenced a lot of their belief systems back then."
Well, the Vikings took over Ireland, which would have been the Celtic
Mhm.
influence. They took over Ireland, and that's how the Irish wound up with red hair.
Yep.
And they basically pillaged, and the Irish were actually Vikings.
Mhm.
People don't realize that.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's more to it. And there's a lot more cultures involved because of how much they traveled by sea, and they would land, and,
Yeah.
and they would spread their knowledge and their cultural beliefs is on top of the pillaging and the killing and taking over.
Yeah.
So,
We actually wouldn't even have domesticated cats if it weren't for the Vikings, because they took them on their ships so that they could help kill rats. And then they loved them
really?
so much that they gave them as pets to their loved ones.
I didn't know that. I thought the cat thing was a Egyptian thing.
Well,
Well, I
the
think it is
Egyptians
too.
had them, but like the whole thing with
But that makes sense to me, to be able to kill
taking
the
them
rats on
around the
ship.
world. Yeah, the around the world thing. So they
Mhm.
had like the Norwegian forest cats, the ones with the long hair that are like similar to Maine Coons. Yeah. They took them on ships with them so that they could help kill the rats. And then they loved them so much that they domesticated them and gave them to their wives as a pet,
Oh, that's
like as
awesome.
a gift.
And
Hmm.
then at home, they could kill the rats.
Yeah, yeah. So the people in Egypt, they had those like black, sleek looking cats, or they had the hairless
Mhm.
cats. Yeah, so the really furry ones that were better in snow, they're the ones that came
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
Vikings,
that
and then
makes
they
sense.
started to be domesticated. Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Look at that.
I
That's
just
pretty
go down the
cool.
rabbit hole with what I learn. I'm serious. You would not believe the useless knowledge in this brain. It would be great for Jeopardy, but nothing else. I'm serious.
So, uh,
Useless.
so if any of you guys wanted, or, had a calling to use Odin, as a deity. He's a very uh, strong god to use. But and he's very powerful. And I heard he can help a lot with divination and spell work and things like that. So, and so that's where we get into runes, because he's the reason why we have runes. Well, not why we have runes, but why we understand runes. He gave humans the knowledge of runes. Runes already existed, but no one had the knowledge yet. He's the one who spread the knowledge to humans about runes.
The secret of the magic behind the runes.
Magic. He spilled the beans.
Yeah, that's another form of divination. So there's lots of forms. There's tarot cards. There's runes. You can grab a handful of charms and throw those out. I was just talking to a wonderful person that I love very dearly, and she owns a shop in my area, and she's a sister witch, and we were talking about divination forms last night, and we talked about tea leaves or coffee grinds or seashells or bones or all different forms. But runes have been around for a very, very long time, and they look very different. So I took mine out. I know that you have.
Yeah, we could show. And before runes were used for divination, so runes originally was actually a written language. I think it was like 24 alphabet, 24, 27. But it's mainly known for divination, but it was originally an ancient written language with the earliest inscription. So it said it was 50 AD, but there's been a recent discovery that actually brings it further back by I want to say 40 AD maybe. So now they're, just last year they discovered one of the oldest rune inscriptions writing. Let's see. And then you can find the entire carving of the runic alphabet in Sweden from 400 AD. So this language and this, writing and everything has been here for way back.
Forever, centuries.
Back. And it's always been associated. And this is where their question, do you think it really happened? Because even as a written language, the runes have always been associated with Odin. And and so Odin was also known as Woden, I think. In pre-Germanic period, they called Odin that.
You didn't get my joke.
With the runes and being the one who gave people the information about them. So even and that kind of makes you think, did he really give them the alphabet? Was he the one who gave them written language, and was he an actual person?
You missed my joke completely.
I did. I'm sorry.
I said that's what his wife called him, Woden as.
Oh my god.
I'll be the comedy relief to this.
I didn't call my husband that.
All right, so these are the ones that I have. They're kind of they're not flat. They're just...
Yeah. Yeah, I have stone ones too.
They're little rocks. They're pretty.
So they could be on wood. They could be on stones. I have stones too.
Yours aren't flat.
They have... This is super girly. I didn't realize it was when I gave it to my husband, but they have rune cards that you can use for, divination and stuff like that.
All right, so I made some. My husband gave me a cool resin kit where I can make Ouija boards, planchettes, earrings, or these. So you could pick the color resin that you want to use. You can add sparkles or whatever you want to
Mikey
use.
said something. There are documentaries showing rock carvings with runes that, when translated, spoke about Odin that dated back super long ago. Runes are also a form of writing and communication form. Thank you.
Yeah, and I read that runes are the alphabet, and they're called Futhark.
So in divination, it's used a little different because you could also create your own rune symbols. You can use rune binding, which is putting two to creating, like, using two symbols to create one.
You can use them as sigils.
You can use them as sigils
by forming two of them together.
I think like even a few of them together.
Yeah. But the Futhark is the first 6 letters, which is the alphabet, and it means secret, mystery, or runa. And each rune is a letter and a spiritual symbol as well. So these are the ones that I created with my, there's 3 of them there. I don't know. Can you see that?
Yes, I see. Those are I like the color.
I needed to paint the it's pretty. It's like and they're clear. You could see through them, but then you have to paint the symbol on them, which I didn't get to do yet. So I was thinking about doing like a pretty gold or silver. So that's I created a whole set myself, but you can make your own.
Yeah.
You'll probably use like Scrabble tiles and flip them over.
Well, I know Mikey's created like once he had like, wooden pieces and he would do like the wood burning and burn the symbol onto it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it doesn't have to be perfect. You can take like bark and make some, or just pebbles or stones or whatever, and throw them in. Like even if you have one of those, what are they called? Those rock tumblers. If you get something like that, you can, smooth some stones out. And like mine are all, these are all different. I don't know if you could see because I don't want them all to fall, but if I tilt this down a little, they're all different colors. Can you see that?
Yep, with the symbols on them. Yep.
Yeah. So those are bought. The other ones were not. They I made those myself, and they can be all different colors. Now I lost the bag.
And so some people read them certain ways too. Some people will like take the bag that they're in and like shake it. And sometimes, like if you want to do a daily thing, they'll just like pick out one and then read what the one meaning, what the meaning of the day is.
So now you have to look at that. What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that one mean?
How did I manage to pick one that's blank?
Are you serious?
Should I do it again? Hold on.
Only us.
I don't know how, out of all the stones in here, I picked this one.
What is that one?
I thought you were going to tell me.
Oh, wait, I could tell you if you show me. Okay, hang on.
And so some people also, the same as tarot, there's some people I know who won't read them if it's backwards. They only read the forward ones.
What?
Have you heard of that? Like there's some tarot readers who don't read the upside down tarot cards.
Oh, because it's considered negative?
Maybe.
So that one is called Othilla, and it's ancestrals, meaning property, legacy, goddess, moon.
Oh.
We'll call you goddess for the rest of the night. Goddess.
I don't mind.
Now your husband has to.
And then there's some people who'll shake the bag and then pour, dump all the stones out, and whatever ones are upside down, they'll remove from the pile and they'll just read the ones that are upside. And like some people I know only read the ones that are like forward facing or not backwards. But you could
Are they
read
like
them all. Just
superstitious?
whatever the backward one are, it's like the opposite meaning, basically.
All right, I'm gonna throw mine into a bag and I'll pull one out.
Yeah, pull out one.
I think I have one that doesn't have anything on it also.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's just not like painted and I just can't see it in this room. Watch me pull that one out. Then we're seriously in trouble. All right.
I managed to pull out the one that had nothing on it.
Could you imagine if it's the same one that you pulled out? All right.
I don't know why there's a blank one.
I don't really read runes, so this is... Oh, it's called Jera, and it means harvest.
Oh.
But I have another thing that tells more, so... Where's Jera? It means earth, year, cycle, and rewards. I'll take it.
Yes. I feel like that totally goes for you.
Well, it's for both of us.
Yeah. Love it. And there's some like great books out there that, you know, talk about runes and divinations. I actually have a set of books that I put aside that at the end of this I'll show. So if you guys wanted to look into, like if you were into Norse paganism and wanted to get into runes, these books I think would be really, really great. But going into now our abundance spell, now if we wanted to use runes, you would actually use this rune symbol.
Which is... okay.
Is it on the camera? So this is Feiyu, and it's for abundance, for like if you wanted abundance in like money, wealth.
It means possessions on one thing, but it also says...
Well, yeah, it has a different meaning. So that symbol's called Feiyu. So it's the room for like wealth, abundance, and prosperity. But it translates to cattle, which was a measure of wealth back then. So
yeah,
when you see it, it actually means cattle. But back then, that's like was
abundance. Yeah, and it also says needs and goals on the other thing that I have. So
yeah, I think it says. Let's see. It's used to attract and symbolize the energy of abundance, wealth, and prosperity. And then the spiritual context to Feiyu is it's linked to movement of energy and circulation of resources, and emphasizes the importance of managing and sharing your resources responsibly. And the pagan practice of divination, if this is pulled, it represents financial gain coming in your future, or new beginnings, or successful outcome to something you've been working towards. So if you're doing the rune bags and you pull out that one, that's what it means.
Okay.
And a lot of the runes that are used, so there's also different types of runes. The oldest runes, which a lot of people still use, are called the Elder Fothark runes. And it's those symbols and those runes that are mainly used still to this day, but they're the oldest ones that I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we talk about abundance. I got my abundance candle. Boop. Abundance.
You can use any, like, you could use a birthday candle even. I have, these are...
Like a little green birthday candle, or yeah.
This has 20, these are chime candles. But green would be for abundance. However, if you don't have a green candle, you could use whatever you think abundance looks like to you. But green is money, money, money. You can also substitute white for anything. So take your candle. You could carve anything into this like a dollar sign. You can put a word in it like abundance. You could use a sigil that you create or Feyu.
Yep. That'd be an easy carving to do. The rune symbol.
Yeah. Or if you're doing it for someone in your family, your husband, if he works and you stay at home as a mom, you could put his name in there also. And, you know, like if you're looking for a promotion, and then a sigil or a dollar sign or several dollar signs, it's like 6 figures. Doesn't hurt. It only needs to be significant as a clear representation of abundance or financial stability. So you do that, make sure that it's safely in some kind of holder, not like this. Oops. I just want to make sure that you're aware. This is not good.
It should not be wiggling around.
No. So if you only have a holder like that, what you can do is drip some wax in and then put the candle in until it dries and stays there. Always a good tip. You anoint your candle with like a patchouli oil. Just drop it on there a little bit, or some other kind of money drawing oil of your choice. Patchouli's great. It also smells
I love the
good.
smell of patchouli.
I do too. Some people hate it.
I love it.
I do too. On a piece of paper, I love this really old looking paper. If you don't have a way to buy this yourself, you can dip it in tea and it makes it look old.
Yeah.
So this I got on Amazon because I'm lazy. Let's just be honest, girls. We don't have time for that. Just put tea bags in water, and you can put paper in, and then hang it to dry. Not in your house because it does stain.
Order from Amazon.
Yeah, it's easier, and it comes in a big, huge pack, real cheap. Then you're going to write your financial goal on it. You don't have to have any like hocus pocus, abracadabra stuff that like rhymes. That's not what it's about. Put your intention into it always. Make it
all about intention. Yep.
Real. Put very clearly the name, who you want to have the money come to, whatever it is, or it doesn't even have to be money. Like we were talking about the cows. It could be abundance of anything. It could be, you know, bank accounts, 401ks, stocks, whatever, a raise, a promotion, whatever it might be. It is better to write what you want to do with a better financial position than an actual dollar amount. So if you want a promotion, put that. If you want a certain amount of money that you specifically need because you need to pay off a vehicle, put that, round it out. It doesn't have to be the exact dollar amount because let's be honest, that's a little bit ridiculous. You're not going to put $6,721.38. That's not going to work.
Also, don't think you're going to end up being like a millionaire. A lot of this times, like these spells, and another one that's really good for money is like a cinnamon spell, using like cinnamon.
Yeah,
is like a big one. But I
don't
think
rub your eyes.
They're going to be like win the lotto. It's like, no, you might find like $10 the next day on the ground or something.
Yeah,
or like,
and it could come in small increments, but it's working. Just be honest with yourselves, because you're not going to, like Dee says, that you're not going to win $1 million. I mean, it could happen, but
it could.
Make it reasonable.
But like, be a little realistic.
Yeah, be reasonable to start.
Yeah, reasonable.
You could even write, you know, I hope I find $10 in my husband's pocket when I do the laundry, but it's still coming.
Yeah.
So either turn the paper upside down or fold it into quarters and then place the candle on top of it. Surround the base of the candle with pennies or other low value coins. You want to, because you're starting low. Beginning on the first night of the waxing moon, meaning that the moon's getting bigger. Waning means smaller, waxing means bigger.
You want to increase, so it's going to do it during the waxing.
Until you get to the full moon. Light the candle every evening before you go to bed and imagine each of the pennies multiplying. That's why it's pennies and small amounts. Multiplying, adding a few to the base of the candle every single night. So you'll do this at the beginning on the first night of the waxing moon until the night of the full moon, and light the candle every evening before you go to bed. So now in this case, we're not going to use something like this because it's going to take a long time. You'll probably want like a pillar candle. And when you I don't want to say blow the candle out because you're not going to blow it out. You always want to like snuff it out or have a snuffer, because if you blow it, you're blowing all of it away. We go over this all the time.
I know.
So that's it.
What if I like cup it and I'm like,
nope. You're blowing it away. Blowing it all. Blowing your money away. So even on the back of this, it does say, I'm sorry, I'm blind as a bat right now, and I don't know why. Green candles are growth, luck, trees, plants, earth, nature, money, success, or jealousy. If you're going to do a little that stuff.
Yeah. And that's awesome.
So if you can get a green one. So you would say pillar, right? Because we're doing it every night from waxing to, I mean, if you miss the waxing moon from the very day one, just put extra intentions into it if you don't start. Because not everybody knows, but you can find it. Like everyone's got a cell phone now, so you can find out when the waxing moon is.
Or they have like apps and stuff now where it'll tell you what the about the moon cycles and what's.
Or on your weather app, it'll tell you what part of the phase of the moon it is.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Helps now. That helps now.
Yes, it does. So. You wanted to talk about the drink of the evening.
Oh, yeah. So, if you're going to do an offering to Odin, normally I would have that drink.
She drank it.
But I didn't. There was only like one store that had it, and it was like a little far, and I just didn't have the time to run out and get it. But you don't have to get this specific one. You can use, so mead is huge when it comes to mead or, your beer. I prefer mead. I'm a huge mead drinker. I love honey wine. Like, it's delicious. Like, I'm looking forward to the next Ren Fair so I can go get some mead. So, an offering beverage, if you wanted to do one for Odin, I definitely, try to find a good mead. You'll love it. You can't go wrong with it.
There's a store going into
and going into, if you wanted to learn more about runes and Norse mythology, I have some books I like to read. So here's one. This one is actually, this is another hard pack. I didn't even know that. So this one is a Rune Oracle book and card pack. See, this one I just got only $10, guys.
Whoa.
$10.
Where'd you get that from?
That's the book. I think the author is Lona Evertson, and it's so cool because it has a deck of rune cards right here.
That's cool.
And then you have your book. Oh, look. I literally just randomly opened.
No way.
Random. And it just happened to open. How crazy is that?
Everything happens for a reason.
It opened to Abundance Dehu Cattle. So,
people, we are putting out the abundance to all of you.
And look, so the deity would be Frey, the tree's elder, the animal is cat. You were just talking about the cats.
Yes, ma'am.
This book's cool because it connects it with like color, brown, bird, swallow, plant. So yeah, so this is a neat book. It's got some like really nice visuals.
I like that.
So for each,
and her name is
Luna. And it's only $10.
And her name is Luna.
And her name is actually no, it's Lona.
Lona. I was gonna say Luna for moon.
I do love Luna, the name Luna though. Another book is called The Big Book of Runes and Rune Magic by Edred Thorson, and it's how to interpret runes, rune lore, and the art of rune casting.
Love it.
This is another good one.
I need to
Mind
get
you, I
into
took
that
all
more.
these from my husband. But now I think I'm going to end up reading it because these stories are really cool.
Thanks for the help, Mikey. We love you for that.
Yeah.
We could have had him as a guest on the show.
I know. Here's one. Norse divination, illuminating your path with the wisdom of the gods, by Gypsy Elaine Teague.
Ooh. I like the look of that one. Thanks, buddy. That's a pretty book.
Another good one. This, I think. Oh, this one kind of talks about the 9 realms.
Okay.
So there's Asgard.
Yep.
And Midgard is where the humans, like Earth, like us. And then was it Bifrost or Jotunheim? One of those is where the giants live. I know that. And then there's one of where there's fairies, and there's one for dwarves, and there's one. So they talk about all, you know, they have the fairy world, they have the land where the dwarves are, they talk about all that in the mythology.
Very cool.
Very cool. Here's another. Oh, this is part of the card deck that I have here. This is Wisdom Rooms. No joke. Got this at Five Below. Five Below, guys.
I'm going to have to go there.
You can't go wrong.
I like it.
It gives you a cute little deck, and it tells you all about it. So, it's really cool. Those are all the books I have.
They're getting edgy now, too.
Huh?
Five Below's getting edgy, too.
They are. I've been finding. I gotten a couple of books from Five Below, like Lil Witchy books. I was like, "Hey, Five Below, I see you."
With the Lil Witchy.
They have like the sage stuff. They actually had some stuff with rune symbols on it too. I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I got a shirt there that was. It said like Luna, and it had a crescent moon on it, and it had some like symbols and stuff. It was really cute. They're getting into it.
Yeah. Soon I'm gonna be rocking this naturally, like Norse paganism. Oh, I just love, mythology. Just
I do too.
Stories and
I do too.
And everything.
I really loved like Percy Jackson.
I have to look into Percy Jackson. I would see like those movies.
Amazing.
Like
and
the movies.
Love them. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to watch it.
They're kids'
movies.
movies.
I always pass by. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. I have to look into it.
I never would have watched them in the past, but I got stuck watching it with somebody else, and I don't remember who it was. And I was like, so wait, that's what this is about? I love that goat. That goat boy.
Oh my gosh.
You have to see that. I mean, like, because he's like a demigod.
Uh-huh.
So his mom was human and she was with a god. So Percy,
kind of like Hercules.
Yeah. So
Hercules
Percy was like a human, and then he wound up having. All of a sudden, he had abilities, and he was like, "Whoa, how did that happen?" And then, like, the goat boy was in school with him, and then he had to like tell him what happened. You love it.
Cool. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah,
I have to check it out then.
And I know Mike, you'll like it too, because if he's into this, he'll definitely like that stuff.
Yeah. So who should our next deity be?
Ooh, I don't know. We might have to work on this one. I don't know.
Yeah. Our next spell?
Maybe Freya.
We could do Freya.
I think Freya.
Okay. What do you think would be a good spell?
Because she came up tonight.
Ooh, that's true.
I don't know, because she's...
I feel like one of the... Hold on. I feel like I'm like feel so horrible because I'm like, there's like should be. Oh, Maybon is September 22nd. We'll do something special
Yes.
for that one.
Yeah, we can do something really interesting.
I do like a big Maybon. Like that's like one holiday I definitely. It's like Thanksgiving for people don't know Maybon. It's like literally like Thanksgiving.
What if we did like a beauty or weight loss with Freya because she's the goddess of beauty.
Okay, yeah. We could do like a beauty spell.
Or should we do weight loss?
I could
Because
definitely go for
a lot of women.
the weight loss one.
Okay, let's do weight loss.
Oh, Mike has seen one of the movies, Super Good Mood. There's a new one that's coming in.
Isn't it good?
Damn, he's on top of it too. I haven't watched it.
And I don't go for that kind of stuff. It's all about mythology and like the gods and goddesses and Poseidon and there's a couple of them. So you'll love it.
Nice.
Yeah, you'll really love it. And the kids will love it too. I mean, it's so fun to watch and it's funny.
That's cool.
And there's like drama and intrigue and like there's adventure.
Yeah, it looks really good. And you know what it looked like to me? Like Harry Potter, but like
I hate Harry Potter.
I love Harry Potter, so that's why I was like, I'll watch it because that's what it kind of.
No, you will. If I don't like Harry Potter, but I love this, and I don't like kid movie, you're gonna love it. I'm telling you, you have to watch it.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do Freya.
Freya.
Wait. I'm gonna figure out a weight loss or beauty spell, or maybe we'll do self-love.
So, didn't we do a self-love one?
Oh yeah, we did. Okay, we'll do beauty or weight loss.
Okay.
What are you gonna do for your potion?
I mean, if we do weight loss, I could do like a slimming tea concoction.
That would be good.
Kind of thing. Just be near a bathroom. Saying.
And then
you know what? I'll kind of do two. So let's do the weight loss one. We'll do a slimming tea, but also do another one for an offering to Freya.
Okay.
Mikey goes, I could go for a tea. Okay, I'll make
Tell her to get her ass out there.
I always make him tea.
That's nice. Okay, so weight loss, Freya. If you want to do the slimming tea and the offering to Freya, I will do an opening, like an introduction to Freya, and I'll do the because you have a lot to do if you're going to be making stuff, and I'll do the spell.
Okay. All right, guys. So everyone, Freya's next. Weight loss, beauty, tea,
concoctions and elixirs.
It'll be good. And that'll probably kickstart my weight loss journey.
Yeah, same.
That'll be going on.
I need to get my singing ass in gear. All right. So that's it.
Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or any ideas for future episodes or anything like that, please let us know. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Nice to see you.